Many people are aware of the strategy that I use to place the signs to help my neighbor recover her 6-month baby Chihuahua puppy that went missing in the forest for 4 nights. And my neighbor was just crazed, as I would be.
Hi, I'm Peggy. I'm with my best friend Sheila of almost 30 years. We're making this video because her message is extremely important, especially during this time. So Sheila passed away 3 times. The longest time was for 15 minutes, and that was at the hospital. They gave her 3 heart attacks. Once she came out of the 3rd heart attack and they took the breathing tube out of her, the first thing she said to me was, Jesus came to me 3 times.
And here's the actual recording.
Yeah, and here's the actual recording when I said, hold on, and then I got the recorder.
What was your dream?
I woke up. I was in a lucid dream. Half sleep and half awake. Because Jesus woke me up. And again, he said, do you want to come? I said, no. And I was matter of fact about that. And I could tell he was disappointed. And anyone on it asked me, what do I want to take?
What did you what?
What did I want to take? Special power? He didn't say that, but I got the feeling.
He didn't say that, but you got that feeling. What did you want to take? Okay. Back from wherever you were to here? Running out of steam now. No, be careful with your eye sheet. You don't want to... Careful, I'll do it. There you go. So, okay, so he asked you, what did you want to take? He didn't ask you, you had the feeling. Tell me about your dream, with the lucid dream with Jesus.
I know. Maybe get it back up a little bit.
I can barely hear you, She.
He wasn't. Last time, he was disappointed.
So how'd you come back?
Back. I said, no, I want to stay. What the hell I was thinking. I started getting too about.
So you said he gave you something. gave you?
Life.
Life?
Yeah.
Hello, and thank you for tuning in. As usual, before we get started, I want to say thank you so much for all your wonderful comments. I cannot tell you what a thrill it is just to even have you participating and even giving me your feedback and your thoughts. And while we're on this subject, I want to say, for many of you have asked me a question that I have not responded to, and please know that I am in no way ignoring you. I just get overwhelmed, and sometimes I say I'm going to go back, I forget to go back, and then more comments come in, new video. But I do want to say I read all of the comments. What I try to do is give you a heart to let you know that I see it. I have read it. But there are times that I have not left heart and I have not commented neither. And the reason why I have not left a heart, is because it seems like it's inappropriate, because I'm being asked a specific question and I don't want to hurt it without then responding. But I haven't had time to respond. So I think I'm going to say tonight, this is a new rule. I'm going to hurt everybody, whether you ask me a question or not, just so you know that I have seen your comment. And if it's a comment that requires a response, if I have time at that moment, I will respond. Otherwise, if I don't respond, it's because I don't want to, at the moment, I don't have the time or the proper mindset. And I want to be sure that when I respond back, that my mind is focused 100% on what I'm doing and not what I have to do. So please forgive me if I do not get back straight away to your comment, which actually is what happened with tonight's topic, kind of, sort of. Charmaine Pence in South Africa, she asked me a question that inspired tonight's message. But before I ask Peggy to read that comment, Charmaine happens to be one of the people that asked me a question a month ago that not only did I not hurt her, but I didn't even respond to it. So even though that comment is off topic, it has nothing to do with tonight's subject, but since I'm answering one of her comments, I thought I would go ahead and answer that one as well. So, Charmaine, I'm going to go ahead and have Peggy please read the first comment.
Hi, Sheila. What an eye-opener this part 6 has been. May Father continue to use you as a tool in communicating with us, his lambs. P.S. Please show us pictures of your cats and dog.
That was her question, or her request. And it was back in part 6, and we're part 13 now. Oh my goodness. Anyways, okay. What I'm going to show you is what a typical day in 2014, what my life was like, feeding the animals in the morning. And I chose that because I had all of the animals in one shot, that I can then show you the animals. And actually, I think it was when I was building my cat fence, and I was recording a lot back then, and that's how I got the recording. But anyways, this is to answer Charmaine's request from a month ago.
I have to do this very quickly. And when I try to do that, microwave is going off.
That's his food. Watch out. There you go. There you go. There you go. And then Casey, it's right there. So you have Niles, Rocky, Zoe, Prince, Boogie, Jasper, and I don't know if you can see Casey, but this is where they all sit every morning. They chose their own spaces, so I just kind of follow suit. Come here, Prince. Hurry up. That's all of them. All the animals here. Hi, boy. Hi. Okay, have a good day. We're having nice weather here, so I'll just leave the doors open. And there you have it, our morning routine.
So, thank you, Charmaine, for being patient, and thank you for not responding as if I blew you off, because I didn't. Okay, Henry said that. Now, tonight's topic is going to be how to wait for unanswered prayers, and it was inspired by the comment that Charmaine asked in reference to video number 11. And Peggy, would you please go ahead and read that?
Hi, Sheila and Peggy. I have a question pertaining to the fact that we can go to God with anything, as mentioned in this video 11. I know and believe that this is true, but if we ask God for something, do we sit back and wait for things to happen, or do we also have our work to do?
Okay, that's an absolutely excellent question. And this is the one. I'm going to give you a solution to what you can do while waiting for your prayers to be answered. And I want to be sure to say that it's not the only solution, but it's a solution that I have learned to be very effective, and it shows a pattern without even realizing it. I didn't even know that it was a pattern until I reflected back, and I realized 90% of my prayers that I asked were answered through the services of others. Me reaching out to help others. Many of my prayers have been answered, and I would like to share with you tonight 3 personal stories of mine, in which 2 you are already familiar with, and I chose to use the two of the stories because you are familiar with them, and I'm unraveling it a little more. I'm sharing more of those stories today versus when I shared them to you the first time, because this section did not apply to that video, and I never want to give you what doesn't apply to the topic. But tonight it fits in, and I'll keep unfolding them for you. All right, so the first example I want to give you is, you'll remember back in video answered prayers, video number 4, when they talk about the television show You're the Talk of the Town. And that's when I invited my friends on, well, not just my friends, but everybody on the show, and I would help them promote themselves or an idea or whatever it was, as long as it was serving and helping others. Not just them were benefiting, but all of us could benefit from whatever they had. With the Talk of the Town, as you know, I invited the guests on, but what I didn't tell you the first time, there are 2 things I didn't tell you, but this is a very important thing. I would always, because of my health, I had to pave my own paths. I could never really accept a job that required that I was going to be, they were going to be depending on me to be there. And it was only because I never knew what my health was going to do. So I had created my own company, which was very successful. And when I would ask God for prayers, I would always pray that I would always be able to stay employed through my own means. So I would have money to do the things that I wanted to do. And so I want to say that because that was always a prayer of mine that I would ask God. Okay, now, having said that, now I'm getting back to what happened when you're the talk of the town. So one day I was at the studio and I was walking down the corridor and this gentleman was walking down the corridor coming towards me. And you could tell that he was bodybuilder, but you could tell that he was probably a Mr. Something because he was built. Oh my goodness. And he had a book in his hand. Okay, so I stopped him. I said, "Hi, wow. Are you a title bodybuilder?" I didn't say that, but that's what I meant. I didn't say it that. I said it better than that. And he said, "Yes, I was Mr. I forget something, Mr. something." Anyways, and he said, and he had a book in his hand. I said, "Oh, what's the book?" And it was a book that he had just written. I said, "Well, would you like to come on my show?" Because I think I looked at the book a little bit and I could tell he's smart. And I said, "Would you like to come on my show? Because I would love for people to see that not all bodybuilders are just muscle. They're actually guys that have, or people that think." And that was important to me to help get that message out, especially about him. And he said, "Yes, I would love to come on your show." He didn't even ask me where I was, did he? I can't remember. Anyways, I invited him on the show. We go ahead and we record the show.
There was an article that you had written and it was talking about not just picking up heavy weights right away. So what's the conditioning process of the body?
Really learning your body, learning the fundamentals. You know, what was hard for me doing bodybuilding first is that's more cosmetic. Mm-hmm. You know, where with powerlifting, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. So learning the biomechanics. And
about a week goes by, I think it was, and he called me up and he said, "Sheila, this is Rob. I was on your show and I have the opportunity, as I told you, to have my own talk show. And they want to see something that I have done on camera." And I just realized I just recorded the show with you, and if I could have a copy of that, I could share that with them. I said, "Absolutely. Come on over in about an hour or two, and I'll make a copy for you and give it to you." Okay, he comes over. I give him the copy, and about a week goes by. Yeah, about a week or two maybe, and I get an email, and it's from a lady, and she says, "I'm such and such, and I would like to know if you would meet me for lunch or coffee, whatever is convenient for you. Please call me." She leave phone number, and I call her. I said, "Yes, this is Sheila. I would like to have lunch with you, no problem." Because she had said she had saw my show. And I thought, because on the show, I tutored my own company. So I was looking for an investor. So I'm thinking, maybe this is what this is all about. So I go ahead and I meet her. It was convenient, right across, close to where I live. We sit down at the table, and she's real sharp, beautiful lady. I mean, her clothes were beautiful. She carried herself so professional, and she was really sweet. And I was dressed pretty sharp myself because I knew I didn't want to, whenever business, you should present yourself as such. So we're sitting down, and she's looking at me, and I'm like, okay, and I'm trying to be courteous and not run the mouth. And she said, "Can I know?" First she told me, she said, "Rob, the guy I interviewed," she said, "he showed me a recording with him with you, and I saw you in I want to know, where did you go to school for broadcasting? I was not expecting that. And I didn't know what to say because I'm thinking, first, matter of fact, let me back up. She first said, she introduced herself and she said, I own, her and her husband, they own television stations, networks from the Bay Area all the way down to Los Angeles. Wow. You know, so it was like, okay. And she said, and I'm having another show with Rob. And I asked him for the tape and I saw you. And I want to know, where did you get your training for broadcasting? I didn't even know what to say to that. Because at one point I was nervous. Because I was thinking, oh, did I say something that I wasn't supposed to? Because I don't know. I don't know how this works. I just took class, was answering the request of the teacher as a project we had to do. So I just kind of sat there. And she looked at me. She said, what's wrong? And I said, I'm not sure how to answer that. I said, well, I never took a class on that. She said, you didn't? I said, no. I took a class on trying to learn how to make videos. And actually, that class that I took didn't even have anything to do with what I wanted to know how to do. It turned out to be a television production course, which I had no idea of. And that was an assignment that I had to do. And she sat back in her chair and she just let herself go. She was just like, are you kidding me? She said, you never had any training with that? I said, no. And she said, her legs were crossed. That's right. She uncrossed her legs and sat up and said, she tapped on the table and said, listen, that's when she told me she said, I'm such and such. My husband and I own television stations here up and down the Northern California, all the way down to Southern California, and we're opening up a new network here locally with cable TV, and I want you to come over and join our team. And I said, oh, wow. But now I'm excited, but I'm not, because I kind of like my show. And she said, and I would like for you to do the local sports, the high school sports, and I think like the little league, but the little A league, the A league. And I want you to be the broadcaster for that. And I sat back and I was like, I was trying not to look disappointed. And she said, what? And I said, oh, I really like my show. You're the talk of the town. Plus, I got another show I do as well, taking back control when dealing with a chronic illness. And I kind of like those shows. And she said, listen, you can bring those shows. No problem. I'll let you have those two shows, and I'll give you prime time, hour-wise, like 7 in the evening, if you do the other show too. Now, still, I have a problem. So I'm not wanting to jump up yet. And I was kind of sitting there, and she said, okay, is there something wrong? And I said, well, I have lupus, and every now and again, it's hard for me to really commit to things that I know are important, that the schedules are kept, because I never know when it's going to hit me, and I wouldn't want to commit if I couldn't. And she had another solution. She sat up again. She said, listen, she goes, here's how we can do it. Give me, I think it was 7 episodes in advance. She said, if you just always say 7 episodes ahead, she goes, that won't be a problem, because we would air them, I think it was like every other week or something with my shows. Yeah, it wasn't something that, they do that though. They'll have way in advance for just that kind of reason. And she said, is that satisfactory to you? Well, how do you turn that down? And I said, absolutely, I'd love to do it. And that's where that story ends, because the rest of it doesn't apply to tonight. The point I'm trying to make is, when God gave me the vision to take that show and not use it as my own personal platform, but to invite others in. That's what opened that door for me. Because if I hadn't been interviewing him, who showed the tape to her, and he didn't show it to her for me, he showed it for himself, and she saw me. And that is how I ended up with that invitation. She was just so impressed with me. She was willing to do whatever it took to get me on her show, on her team. Okay, that's the first example I want to give you. The second example, let me get my monitor goes, the screen times out on me. Okay, now the second one, you'll remember in video number 10, I believe it was, when I asked Peggy to help me with the lady's house with all the cats that were peeing and pooping all over her house. Okay, that continues as well. Now, as you know, she offered to edit my book or proofread it for free. But she also went on and she proofreaded my company. I had 2 websites. And she went through all of the websites and made any suggestions to make it even more professional. About 3 months down the road, now let me remind you that I would always ask God to give me opportunities so that not only could I provide a way to finance myself, but that I could excel with it. So I didn't want just a little bit. I wanted to do something in such a way that I would be able to enjoy life at the same time. Okay, about 3 months goes by. She asked me if she can nominate me, if I would be okay with that. Nominating me, receive an award. I can't remember what the award was. Something citizen. I can't remember. Anyways, doesn't matter. But she goes on to say, if you accept the award, you will do it. We're going to have a ceremony with the other nominees, and you get to present a PowerPoint presentation or video about something that you feel passionate about, whatever you want, basically. And I said, okay, and who do I present this to? People in the community? Or she said it's going to be other leaders in the community, prominent leaders with the money to make things happen. Wow. And I'm thinking, goodness sakes. I remember going home that night and sitting down and saying, wow, here on the Talk of the Town video, when I pitched my company, I was trying to reach that very crowd I was trying to reach. But I didn't come close to it because I never got feedback from my presentation on the Talk of the Town. Well, I got some feedback, but not the feedback I was hoping to get. And here I go to her house, this lady's house, asking for her to proofread a book of mine. I turned out serving her with no intentions of receiving anything other than the fact of God and helping one of my sisters and brothers. And it turned out where God answered a prayer for me. I was able to pitch my company pretty much one-on-one, 12 feet away from the audience that I wanted to be in front of. Wow. And that's number 2. I'm seeing a pattern here where I set out with not that in mind at all. I was just serving a person in need, and an answer came to my prayer in such a way that I would have never thought it would have ever happened the way it did. And that's the end of that story. I cannot take you further because it doesn't apply. The third one that I want to share with you is about how the Sheila Shaw NDE YouTube channel came to be, because that was not on my path or focus at all. After getting out of the hospital, I think it was February of March 2019, that's when I actually came back home. But when I came home, I couldn't really speak. I could speak, but it's amazing how well I speak on camera, because when I'm off camera, I don't speak this well at all. I'm always calling things cabinet. Everything is a cabinet. And God bless the people that are around me. They know, especially Peggy. She knows exactly what I'm talking about all the time. And thank you, Peggy, for that. She's laughing at me half the time, but that's okay. I've learned to laugh at myself since the accident. Anyways, make a long story short. Okay. So I get out of the hospital. Now, mind you, my life before any of this happened was very productive. I mean, I was always doing something. I had full autonomy. I was able to drive. I was able to go to the pet store. I was able to help people if they needed computers, whatever. I was doing something. Now I'm out of the hospital. I can't, okay, I should tell you. Okay, remember I had the real long dreads. They were a mess. They knocked out my front tooth when they were putting that tube in mouth, and they cracked two of my other teeth by doing it every time they summed in my tooth. Okay, then when I'm walking, I walk like I'm drunk. So it's not like I could really go out and be productive, because people are going to perceive me as a drug addict. They have no idea what happened to me, because I was about that thin, super skinny to boot. Okay, so I'm sitting here on my couch and I'm feeling so, I'm just bummed out. For the first time in my life, I was really depressed, because I'm thinking to myself, okay, I was at home, I was with God, I had everything at my fingertips, goodness sakes, now I'm sitting here in the house alone, I have nothing to do, no one I could contribute and help, and God, I knew, don't ask me again. Next time I come home, just move. If you don't move, I'm going to tackle you. I'm going to do a sliding. I'm going to run. I'm going to slide underneath your robe, get on the other side, and keep walking. I don't even want you asking me questions. This is what's going on in my mind sitting on the couch. Meanwhile, Paige, she constantly saying to me, Sheila, could we make the tape a video, because I want to have it for YouTube if something happened to you. I want to be able to share this story, because I think a lot of people will be helped by it. And I wasn't any part of it. I'm just not. You know, I said, look, when I had PIVA, I couldn't get anybody to go there, and that was all on plastic pollution and everything. I know this is something I hold dear, and I don't want anybody pooping on it. I just didn't. You know, anyways, a week goes by, same thing. She's knocking on the door. Sheila, please, please. And mind you, I've been running around. When I was in the hospital, I couldn't stop talking about Jesus. Oh my goodness, I was wearing myself out with it. And when I got out of the hospital, everybody that would listen, I would stop and talk to. Now mind you, Peggy, she's chaperoning me everywhere, so she's hearing this. And she's saying, Sheila, could we make video? Because if something happened to you, I'd really like to have it for YouTube. That way maybe more people can hear it, because I believe your story is phenomenal. I said, okay, not today, because I'm still not speaking right. I don't have tooth in mouth. That's right, I didn't have a tooth. This tooth was knocked out. They knocked it out, putting tube in mouth to breathe. So I don't want to get on TV with no tooth in mouth. It's bad enough I'm talking the way I'm talking. This was going on through my mind. You know, I'm used to being on TV sharp. Beautiful dress, teeth perfect, well spoken, and now you want me to get on there looking like drug addict. Oh no, that's help. You know, okay, she come back a week later. Come on, she please, please, please. Year goes by. Finally, one day, just out of the blue, That's why we look the way we do. We didn't bother trying to make ourselves up. Peggy, when I said, Peggy, okay, let's make video, she stopped and said, let's do it. Because she, at this point, she was thinking, I better get it while I can. I'm not going to pick about it. Let's just go do it. Okay. We get in there and we make the video and we put it up on YouTube, and wow. Now, meantime, I want to say, God's always talking to me. I can hear him really clear now since I've been back. And I'm doing a lot of contemplating. And I share all this with Peggy. I said, Peggy, there's some nuggets that I still need to share with you guys that are pretty profound. And I just have to get the opportunity to say the nuggets. Anyways, so I make the first video. We pop it up there. And we get a wonderful response. Plus Truth Rabbit, who has a channel of near-death experience people, emails us and asks us if we could put my story over there. And he had like 70,000 subscribers, and it just took off. Oh, wow. And they're asking me more questions. And I say to Peggy, she now gives me... There was some recordings she didn't want me to see because there were bad things that were happening to me in the hospital. But she said, Sheila, I have all these on the tape if you want to listen to them. And I said, wow, a lot of it I didn't remember. And thank God she did those recordings because it's kept it fresh, which allows me to share it with you today because of her recording. Anyways, the one recording that's online now, it's the one that says Nugget. That was the second one we uploaded. And again, we get positive response. I said to Peggy, I said, well, I'm being asked questions. And I'm the type of person, I don't like ignoring people. So I start number 3. And that's when I start sharing my couch time nuggets, which I think I'm going to call it couch potato nuggets now. I'm not the couch nugget. It's going to be couch potato with glasses and skinny arms and skinny legs, sitting on the couch, contemplating. Anyways, so I do part 3. And again, I get positive response. And I was not expecting this at all. And I realize now, making this video tonight, when I look back, every time I reached out to help others, God came back with something beautiful for me. Because now I still don't get to go out on my own and I can't drive. But I have something to do that is helping people in such a way that I never... My goodness, I never thought I would ever have the opportunity to do and be so well received. Because I can't tell you how many times in my life I tried to do something and it just never seemed to be appreciated. And here I have to die and come back with no tooth, talking funny, hair messy, same shirt. And I'm just, thank you, Jesus, for giving me purpose again. Because it's hard sitting on a couch knowing what I gave up. And this is, I would do it all over again. Just to sit here and talk to you and share with you from my heart everything that I believe to be true and what I learned when I was on the other side about our Heavenly Father and how much He loves us. And He will always answer our prayers. And I'm saying, as I said at the front of the video, that this may not be the only way to wait for your prayers, but it's a way that I have learned, that I have received so many answers for my prayers when I stopped and took the focus off of myself and put it on somebody else and help, not only help them with a solution, but saw it through with them as well. So I didn't just drop the idea and leave them. I like the girl. I knew she couldn't put the signs up with the dog. I did it for her. And I wasn't trying to get anything other than helping someone in need. And I always thought, if I lost my animal, I would want somebody like me to come and help me. Somebody that didn't want anything from me, but just wanted me to find my animal. And I say that maybe that's why, because my intentions were sincere, that I always got something beautiful out of it without even realizing it. So, Peggy, is there anything that you would like to say or share?
I witnessed all of this, actually, because I've known you for so long. And I remember each time you prayed about it, and it would happen like that.
Yeah.
And you would talk to me about your prayers. And then after the near-death experience, what you didn't realize is how much God would speak to you.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was amazing. God
Yeah.
has said this, God has said that.
okay, so I think I'm going to go shopping and try to get another shirt. So I can change shirts. Well, I lost 40 pounds when I was in the hospital, and I wasn't the type to gain weight, and I'm not gaining it now. So none of my clothes fit me, but my little cute pink shirt that my sister gave me, and I like it anyways. But yeah, it's time to see if I can get another shirt so I can have something else to wear on camera, so you can tell the difference between the videos. Okay, having said that, thank you so much for joining us, and as always, I love your wonderful comments and your thumbs up. Peggy and I really appreciate it. Have a nice evening. See you next week, same time, same channel.